Good evening, everybody. It's Monday, and we are here uncensored to talk about all things Evercade. How is everybody doing?
Yeah, good. I am
Yeah,
very good.
really
Thank you.
Excellent. Hey, Mr. Lowe has made it in time as well. Look at that. I can see him in the chat. Hello, Alistair. How are we doing?
Can I just apologise, Alistair Lowe, because he appeared because we were meant to be doing this last week, weren't we? And he was in the chat twice saying, "Oh, have I missed it? Am I late?" And yeah, so it's good to see him. It's good to see that he's made it this evening.
Brilliant. Well, we apologise again for that, Mr. Lowe. Apologies. So joining this evening, we have got Mr. Blunners.
Hello,
He's
all right.
stuck in. Oh, there we go. He's there. He is there. We have got Mr. Ryan.
Evening, everyone.
And yeah, so we are here to cover a few things Evercade related. So let's kick it off with the latest Evercade news. And there has been some news recently, hasn't there? There's been, well, let's start with the biggest thing, which is their 2023 roadmap. Has everybody seen said roadmap?
I have.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Well,
okay. And you're right there, Ron.
Yeah. I was going to say we'll share it on the screen.
Oh yes, do jump on if you got it there.
Yeah, I will get on that and share it so we can all see it. It doesn't really tell you much, to be honest. These things never do, unfortunately. But it is letting us know that we are getting 2 cartridges, which have been announced so far this year. If you see there.
Okie dokie. So the roadmap shows that's the Commodore 64 Collection 2, the Toplan Arcade Collection 2, and Indie Heroes 3, which is not until February next year. So we've got 12 months to wait for that one. And then a lot of spaces. It's sort of like Marvel turning up to D23 and just sort of saying, here's the next movie. There's another 12 coming out, but we can't tell you what they are. Which is, it's a bit of a tease, isn't it, really? Yeah. I mean, how do people feel about that?
Ryan, you going?
Yeah, we know we're getting 12 cartridges this year. So that's positive. We can assume one of them is going to be the Amiga cartridge because they've already said that there's going to be an Amiga cartridge this year. So you could discount one of those straight away. Maybe 2 are going to be Amiga cartridges. Yeah, having another Indie Heroes collection next year, brilliant. Hopefully, Alistair Lowe will have another game on that collection. But the first 2 cartridges that have been announced this year, not overly excited by them. The C64 Collection 1 is possibly one of my worst carts on the Evercade. I believe I played it like twice, and one of those times was with you guys. Put it in my handheld the other day, played the baseball game, couldn't even figure out what I was doing, and just took the game out, and that was the end of that. And Tower Plan Arcade 2, we will get to look at the games. It's good to have another arcade cartridge. However, it's disappointing to see tons of shoot 'em up games yet again. So yeah, in terms of the other cartridges, we've got no idea, have we? Got literally no idea.
Yeah, and it could be anything. I mean, it could literally be anything. I wouldn't even like to speculate what the others are, really. I mean, like you said, the Amiga collection will probably be one of them. Could it be that there's an Amiga collection 2? Possibly, yeah. I could see that happening. It'd be nice to see, I don't know, something else arcade related that's not been seen yet. Like not a collection 3 or a collection 2. Like let's get a new arcade collection and sort of see where that runs. I don't know who though. I don't know what you could do. It's just difficult now, isn't it? Because it used to be a lot of speculation as to around what the Evercade could get on it. And it's I don't know. It's difficult. difficult to sort of think of what could fill in those gaps.
It's just mad. You just don't have any idea. It could just be absolutely anything. More shooters.
Yeah, yeah.
You can have any game you want on any platform or any developer as long as it's a shoot 'em up. That's basically, yeah, what you'll get with Evercade at the moment. Someone somewhere clearly likes shoot 'em ups.
Yeah. It's yeah. Sorry, just seeing Mr. Radical Reggie in the chat there. Apologies, it wasn't our usual intro because this is just going to be Evercade related this evening. But we'll have to fire up the old intro for you at the end and see if we can get that running for you. Yeah, I don't know what else we can sort of say really about the roadmap. It's a strange one. It kind of feels maybe a little bit too early to have announced it. Sort of quite like they have. I think because they'd announced the C64 2 and Tire Plan 2.
Well, they weren't supposed to be announced when they were. Crazy Burger, excellent YouTube channel covering Evercade. If you don't already subscribe to him, do subscribe because his content is brilliant. He noticed on the game website. So for those in America, that's our version of, is it GameStop? Is that
GameStop? Yeah.
Yeah. So, or Sports Direct as it's now called, because that's where they all are. However, he noticed on their website that the C64 Collection 2 and Tire Plan Collection 2 were available. I don't know if they were for pre-order, but they were advertised on the game website before Evercade had announced anything.
Right.
So someone obviously got a little bit too excited at game, and then Evercade have had to bring that announcement forward. So I don't think, from what I hear, it wasn't supposed to be announced until this week. So yeah, they've had to bring that announcement forward.
Okay. Interesting.
But with these things and with Evercades, there are always slight delays. It can't be helped. Things coming from China, obviously, the world's in a funny place at the moment. So whether those dates will all be met, I would be skeptical, to say the least.
So Reggie has got his EXP, but honestly prefers the VS. I mean, the VS is such a good system, isn't it? It's difficult to kind of ever put that system down. Really, I get great enjoyment out of my VS. It's absolutely superb. Happy days. Right. Is there anything else we want to cover with the roadmap, short of just random speculation as to what collections we think there could be?
They have said that we're going to get a third collection of something this year. I'm sure I've read that somewhere. And Andy in the chat, do correct me, but I am sure that I have seen that there will be a third collection. So one of the cartridges that we've already got, we will be getting a third collection of that cartridge or of that.
Okay.
So whether that will be Intellivision free, hopefully not. Atari free, again, hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be Mega Cat Studios or even Pico Interactive, because those type of cartridges you get daubed straight away Intellivision free. But those types of cartridges, you get much more variety, and the games are much more. They're just more fun to play, and they're games that you might not necessarily have played before. Whereas when you get into play, for example, who hasn't played Earthworm Jim? Who hasn't played Earthworm Jim 2? Most people would have played that at some point in their life, and they're great games to have on a cartridge. But sometimes it's good to find new games or modern games that have been made for old consoles.
What about will it be like a Konami one eventually, but end of the year?
That is like a pipe dream, isn't it? That's like the golden egg, I think.
Yeah, it might be a license. They might have a license for a year, just exclusively for EXP, and then
that could be cool. That could be really cool. Daub's coming in with bloody Atari 3. I could see them doing something else Atari related, given that it's the 50th anniversary that they've been celebrating, where they've released the PS4, PS5, and all those arcade
Yeah,
and
it's the
other
50th.
collections. I could see them doing something else Atari related to celebrate the 50th, which I mean, yeah, that would be fine. But yeah, bring back Cool Spot.
Cool
I'm
Spot.
into that. Who doesn't like Cool
Yeah.
Spot? I would be happy if Interplay were to do another one, because I still think there's some little golden eggs on that as well. Like, I really like the Casper game that came out on PlayStation 1, and that was Interplay, and that was kind of cool. So I'd quite like to see that come to Evercade. That would be a really good thing to play on there. Yeah, it's difficult because we could speculate forever about the roadmap, and I don't think we'd ever guess it, other than the Amiga collection, I think.
No,
I
I
think
don't think I've ever got one right. We had Sean from. I never have. We had Sean from this channel on last Christmas, I want to say, for Christmas special. Sean from Evercade, and he said, if you can guess what's going to be the next cartridge announced, I'll send you a copy for free. And no one guessed Gremlin. No, who would have guessed Gremlin? It's just there's too many developers, and it's too vast. It's really hard to guess. So I guess we just wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, it might go straight into the Southampton Sea. Who knows?
It's actually called the Solent, and it isn't actually a sea, Ali.
Southampton Sea.
Nerd alert!
I know someone. I used to think it was a sea across from Southampton to Isle of Wight, but someone said no, it's not a sea. Is it like an espadrille or something? Espadrille? I don't know. It's not a sea. And I was like, well, it is. It's got waves, and you can swim in it. And they were like, no, it's not a sea. It's called something different. So.
Everything's too big and needs to look smaller. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Everybody over on the official Facebook group, there's a lot of people. I think someone put it in the Evercade Hangout the other day. Lots of people always put on there, bring Doom to Evercade, and you're like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. But like you said, Ryan, there's so many cool little studios and forgotten games that maybe people didn't give the benefit of the doubt at the time because there was something else out that they could be bringing to people's attention. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. So should we move swiftly on to each of the two announced cartridges then? So the first one being Tower Plan Arcade 2.
I knew you would click on that one because I had C64 Collection 2 teed up just to go, and I knew you would say the other. Whatever one I picked, you would say the other one.
This is how it goes. So, how many shooters are on this? It's a whole cartridge of shooters, isn't it? I think.
Tarte mode extraordinaire.
Yeah, so you've got 7 games. The first 4 are shoot 'em ups, and then you've got a couple of platform games and a racing game.
Yeah, Turrican Collection. I could go for that. Yeah, this doesn't scream at me. I have to say, I don't. I could be saying something blasphemous here, but I can't say I know many of these shoot 'em ups, whether the top down or the side scrolling ones. I don't think I've ever played any of them. So I mean that would be fun to play them, but at the same time, the first 2 look almost identical. Just in the aesthetic, that is, anyway.
Well, they look identical to the ones that are already on Tower Plan.
I mean, I'm presuming Tower Plan are just known for shooters. Possibly.
But yeah, I'm no expert at all. So
I'm glad that's not just me, Ali. I've never.
Yeah, so I can't. I imagine 4 of these games have been picked because of Tarte mode.
Yep.
So I get that to play on the
100%.
EXP. So it makes sense to pick those games. But there's so many shoot 'em ups on the Evercade. It needs more variety. Where's a boxing game, for example? I'm not I'm not saying everyone loves a boxing game, but there aren't any boxing games. Where's a good wrestling game on the Evercade? There isn't any. That we've got, sensible soccer, good football game. Actua soccer's okay. Where's a good
Yeah.
fighting game to play on the VS? Fighters History's okay. Clay Fighter, Fighter 2.
Yeah.
There isn't any. And the VS is for two people to play. They need a beat 'em up on there. It's all good and
Yeah.
well being on the EXP Street Fighter, but it needs to be on the VS so you can play with people. That's what those games were made for.
Yep. There's a few people there in the chat mentioning point and click games.
Point and click games, yeah.
Completely agree. Completely agree. It'd be great to have a couple of point and click games on there. That would be absolutely spot on. Yeah, I think everyone's in the point and click love there. Which point and click game would people suggest though? Throw some suggestions in the chat because that's a genre all on its own. Yeah. And then the next one is the C64 Collection Spy.
What I will say is that cover is awesome.
Yeah. Cover looks quality, man.
That cover, I would have that on a poster on my wall in a games room because that is really smart. I really like that. Whoever's designed that, thumbs up.
It reminds me very much of games back in that era where you'd look at the front cover and think, "Wow," and then you'd load the tape up and go,
yeah. What is this?
But I mean, what have we got on? What have we got on Collection 2? We got. I can't see the writing's very small there. Is it World Games?
World Games, yeah. California Games, which I used to have on my NES when I was growing up. I'm not sure if the C64 version is similar to the NES version, but California Games is a good game to play with your friends. Impossible Mission 2. If you remember, Ollie, that was that one Dorbs was doing those like forward flips with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Pit Stop 2. I don't know that. To be fair, that pit stop picture, if that's in game, that's really good for back, late 80s, early 90s. That's very good. And then more shoot 'em ups. Street Sports Basketball, which I think is the third version of that on the Evercade, because we've got the Lynx version and we've got the Atari 7800 version as well, I want to say. And then we've got an RPG. And then, so I'm no another shoot 'em up. I'm no C64 expert. This is where we could have done with Dorbs today. So if anyone in the chat has played these games and knows what they're like, let us know. Oh, another shoot 'em up. Insects in Space. Look at that. It's like a naked man flying through space. Can you see that? You see that?
How many games are on this cartridge?
There are 14 games.
14, yeah, I think you said.
So we had 14 on the last 14. So that'll be 28 C64 games, which is about 1 megabyte of data. So why they couldn't put them all on one cartridge would have been. I get why, because they need to make money at the end of the day. But could they have whittled down the dross and created a good cartridge of just much better games rather than what we've ended up with?
Yeah.
It's a collection. I haven't picked up the first C64 collection yet. I know we played it a bit at yours, Ryan, and it didn't bowl me over. But then I don't have much nostalgia for the Commodore or the Amiga or the Spectrum or any of the sort of home computers from back in the day. So I was hoping it would be sort of like my kickoff to experience some of these games. I'm not entirely sure it is. I don't know. I might just not go down that road. I might just not get the Commodore collections, and just keep up with the arcades and the regulars. I mean, I don't have a full set anyway. I've got a good little selection, but I definitely don't have a full set or anything. So yeah, maybe I don't think the Commodore ones are for me, unless someone in the chat can sort of convince me otherwise. That first Commodore collection, is there something on there that I really need to give a really good amount of time just to sort of really fall in love with it. I don't know. Someone tell me in the chat if I'm wrong, or
What I
do you have
can
to
do,
have
which
nostalgia for it?
will be really cool, I will bring in the C64 collection into work, and you can borrow it from me. Remember when people used to be able to do stuff like that?
Ooh.
And you can, yeah,
Yeah, trade it.
you could borrow it and have a play on it.
Look at that. I mean, that's insane, isn't it? I mean, I would love to be able to lend you a cartridge back, but I think you've got all of mine. I could lend you something else though.
Okay.
Duran's got them all in you.
All apart from IRIM
Well,
and in Television 2, which I refused to buy. So
yeah.
I might have to buy you in Television 2 just so you've got the complete set, mate. The completionist in me is just it's itchy knowing that you've got an almost complete set.
No, I am going to be getting a shelving unit in my spare room because it's being sort of turned into a bit of a games room, and they will all be on display soon. So that missing number will really wind me up. So I probably will have to pick it up at some point. But I'll just leave it sealed forever.
It's gonna stand out. It's gonna
Leave
stand
it
out. So before we dive into our next topic, let's go and see what have people been playing and doing Evercade related at the moment. Let's start with Mr. Blunners, because you have now joined the club. Ooh.
Yeah, some new. Get one. Obviously playing it around Ryan's house, and I've got a bit of a delay. I've just seen as well. Great. But yeah, first game I've picked up is Indie Heroes 2. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. I've just had a quick go through every single game. Obviously, Tapeworm's really good, and there's some really good games on there actually. But I'm someone like me. I'm looking for like stuff you can't get anywhere else. So some of them new carts don't really appeal to me. But I do like the fact that these are just little indie games. I do like the fact, and I like to support that fact as well. Like as we already know, like Alistair and people like that, I'm more than happy to pick up these games. But yeah, I managed to pick up an absolute bargain. I didn't obviously get an XP, but I managed to get the original and got it for £35 on eBay. So bargain, I feel.
That is a bargain, and that is absolutely worth 35 quid. Jesus, I mean that's a steal.
So yeah, new to the team.
Got to get them all now. You've got to get about 40 cartridges to get up to date.
Yeah, no. Right.
And Mr. Ryan, what have you been playing?
I have been obsessed since Christmas with Elwa's Awakening. I think I'm on the last bit now, and I've done about 12 hours on it. So I've explored it loads, really enjoying it. Really great 8-bit platform game. Possibly, well, in my mind, easily the third best game on Evercade behind Flea and Tapeworm, obviously. But yeah, they are. It is absolutely brilliant. And for me, not to be able to put a game down on my Evercade, it's obviously got something because I keep going back to it. I thought I was at the end bit because I had to fight 3 of the bosses again that you had fought previously, and now I've gone to a whole new sort of area, and yeah, it's getting quite tricky. Save states really come in handy when you're playing it because there's some bits that are like, really, really tricky, but yeah, really, really good game, and I believe there's a sequel, so hopefully we'll get that on Evercade. But when I finish that, I've got Cathedral to play as well, which again is meant to be outstanding, and isn't it the first native game on Evercade? So I'll look forward to playing that, and I have dipped into Indie Heroes 2 as well, but a few of those games I'd already played on Game of the Month, but I've played Tapeworm again. Very, very good game, very clever. How the tape cassette comes up between the levels, and it's got the it tells you, it's got like a name, it looks like a name of a song. It's really smart. Alistair's obviously a very creative individual, so that's good. The bar game's really good. The Bar Slinger, I think it's called, or something like that, where you've got to serve customers beers and they come in and they like IPA, lager, beer. That's quite a good little game. So yeah,
is that one sort of similar to Tapper?
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Amazing. Yeah, I haven't been able to pick up Indie Heroes 2 yet. I've kind of been a bit slacking. Some very kind individual got me this for Christmas, and I've started Hours Awakening. I've not had a huge run on it, but I have sort of been playing it a little bit recently, and I absolutely see what you're talking about, Ryan. It's very addictive. And I love the graphics. I love the style that they've gone with on it. I know it's 8-bit and it just sort of looks like 8-bit games, but there's just something about the characters in this one that really do just kind of, I don't know, they're just really charming. It controls really well. It plays really well. Yeah, it's really solid. So I'm looking forward to just carrying on with Hours. I mean, like you say, Ryan, you've been playing it for, you know, quite a long time now, and you keep telling me what an absolutely amazing game it is, and yeah, looking forward to ploughing on with that.
It's probably more than 10 hours because don't forget I'm using save states, so whenever I die at certain points I'm redoing it until I can get past it. So it's probably way more than 10 hours that I've been playing it for.
Yeah, no, it's an absolutely solid
Yeah,
game.
I think it's going to be my next one. Obviously, Ryan has recommended it to me before, so yeah, I think that's going to be my next one I pick up. I think.
Yeah, would highly recommend it. Absolutely. I mean, there's quite. I mean, looking at the cartridges now, there's some great collections there. So you've got a whole host of cool stuff to be coming up your way for sure. A few people have thrown in some interesting questions in the chat. We've given them a little star, and we'll see if we can get to those at the end. So if people do want to ask a question that we can then sort of discuss, please feel free to throw it up in the chat. We'll give it a little star, and we'll have a look at them at the end. It's quite fun to do those at the end. So
just before we move on, Blunners was saying he's going to pick up Indie Heroes 1. You're going to OLL, Ollie, with Dorbs. And Alistair Lowe's just confirmed he will be going. If he's got a copy of Indie Heroes 1 and he can sign it, maybe you could pick it up for Blunners, and he could, which would be a good version of him to buy rather than straight from Amazon.
I'm sure we could do that. Mr. Lowe, is that something we can do? Can we buy a copy of Indie Heroes? Either I don't know if you've got any copies, but if you've if you still got some, then yeah, bring some to OLL. We'll get you to put your squiggle on it, and we'll bring that back as a gift for Blunners.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. That would.
How exciting! Yeah, that'd be cool. Excellent. So the next topic, and I had to ask Ryan what this meant, because I'm not up on my Evercade lingo quite like Ryan was. And that is the Pico 1 becomes a legacy cartridge. Now, I had to ask Ryan what that meant. And that means now that once Pico 1 has sold out everywhere, it is going to be no longer available. Now that's quite a good cartridge. That's quite a good collection. Does someone know why that they're starting to do this with these cartridges and sort of going down this legacy route?
Well, it's my understanding that there's a couple of games on that cartridge. I don't know which ones they are. So if you go onto the Evercade website, so you've got Legacy next to Pico Interactive Collection 1 now, and they have made an announcement. It's my understanding that 2 of the games on this cartridge are now licensed by someone else and not by Pico Interactive. So they're now no longer able to develop this, to produce this cartridge to sell. So they can sell the ones they've got that have been produced, but there won't be any new ones made in the future.
Right. I wonder how well the Pico collection has sold. Because, like I said, there are some good games on it, and
it's a solid collection. It's got 20 games on it,
and they're all pretty good. Like, I don't remember there being many crap ones.
No, there's lots of RPGs on there. Not many shoot 'em ups. I don't think there's any shoot 'em ups on this one. So, but yeah, like Iron Commando is is look at those graphics on that. That's the type of games that you want to see on Evercade.
Yeah, it is. That's a good game.
Yeah, Jim
Um,
Powers is the most difficult game ever. Even with save states, it's impossible. I challenge anyone to get past about 2 levels on that without getting a game over. It is
Yeah.
impossible. But I don't know which games it is that they've lost the license to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out if anybody knows.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
I mean, Mr. Jarvis has just put up a good suggestion. Surely an update could remove them when the cart is inserted and kind of block them from being used and continue to sell. I mean, that's a possibility. Or just print the cart minus those games on it. Maybe then you could keep selling the collection. I mean, it wouldn't be the complete collection, but it would certainly be maybe better than just completely abandoning it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but then it makes it collectors though. So then, like, it then becomes valuable. You know, all the ones that Ryan's
Yeah,
got eventually they're going to be worth quite a bit. So,
yeah, that's
do you know what I
true.
mean? You should. It's like you don't expect to buy something, stick it in, and then sorry mate, can't play it anymore. It's not going to happen, is it? That's like kind of like what they're doing with like Nintendo eShop when they're trying to get rid of everything. So
Yeah. Right, we've got Mr. Goldtooth in the house there. Mr. Goldtooth, how are we doing, sir? Very good to see you. Very good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday evening. I mean, what other cartridges have become legacy ones then? Because I know the Oliver Twins was becoming in that sort of vein, wasn't it? Or did they get round that and reprint it?
No, they've got it on the website. Funnily enough, I've just found it on the screen, so they've got it here. So they're the ones that have all become legacy. So you've got Namco Museum 1, Namco Museum 2, Pico Interactive that we just talked about, Techno's Collection 1, Oliver Twins Collection, and the Evercade handheld starter pack and premium pack have become legacy now. So I guess with the XP out, they're not going to be making those anymore.
Yeah, they're phasing out the original handhelds, aren't they? That's I mean, they've said for ages that's what they were going to do. I still think I don't know. I still think there's a market, even with the EXP. I still think there's a market for that other handheld because it's just so goddamn affordable. But at the same time, you're going to want to sell your premium product, aren't you? You're not going to keep selling your, slightly inferior one if you want to be pushing that sort of higher end premium more product. So I don't know. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? They're all sort of in that first era of cartridges as well, aren't they? That are sort of becoming that legacy stuff.
Yeah, the first year of Evercade, all of those cartridges came out.
Wow. I mean, I'm sort of looking at the gaps in my collection now and thinking, Christ, I should probably catch up with a few that I'm looking to do before legacy route. Yeah. Or they go down that route where someone says earlier and they end up like just bypassing the game and you'd like have an incomplete cartridge and that would suck.
Should have a gold cat box version, yeah. Legacy, so it's all in gold. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Last.
Like what we used to get with the PlayStation games when they used to go silver when they sold too many.
Oh yeah, you get the platinum collection, wouldn't you?
That's it, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, platinum. That was it. Yeah, platinum.
And then you had your greatest hits on the PS3, didn't you? That was like red cases. Ooh, no one wanted them.
Yeah, they were awful.
There was only ever one before we, first tangent of the evening. There was only ever one PS2 platinum that I recall becoming collectible, and that was Silent Hill 2 Director's Cut, because that was the only way to get the Director's Cut was to have the platinum version, and that is an expensive platinum. What's this Dorb saying? Watch the fog. Absolute trash. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Don't know what you're talking about. The fog's great. It's not, Citizen Kane, but it's a silly horror film. God, I don't know what he's talking about, Dorbs, does he? Shocking behavior. Doesn't like Final Fantasy, doesn't like the fog. Disgraceful.
Doesn't like anything unless it's free, Dorbs. So
and Dorbs, as you can see there, mate, there's a couple of your little Mario McDonald's things right there for you. I'll bring them into work for you tomorrow. So we're having a little trade up. Okay, so the next topic for this evening, unless anybody else has anything they want to cover in that previous bit.
No, I think we've covered it. It's disappointing that these cartridges are going legacy. Like you say, if someone's coming into Evercade, late on in its cycle, they're not. Well, it's those cartridges is going to go up in value, aren't they? That's just what's going to happen. So people coming into it
Yeah.
late are going to have to pay more than the retail price. So that's the
Mhm.
sad reality of it. But you snooze, you lose, as they say.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And it's, I don't know, is it going to become that collectible? Are people going to, I mean, that's a question for everybody else as well. Like you guys in the chat, like, is the Evercade, yeah, exactly, Mr. Asolo there. It'd be interesting to see the aftermarket prices. Is the Evercade at any point going to be collectible, as in, desirable, or is it just going to be collectible for people that like physical media? I don't know, because that's, as soon as that next level of collectability comes into something, all of a sudden that FOMO kicks in and people start then wanting it more, and that's when the prices start shooting up. So it'd be interesting.
Well, as someone who collects amiibos, obviously Nintendo are notorious for not printing enough. Some of the prices I've got one, this little box boy one. It's worth over £400. It's just because they don't print anymore. So it's crazy. So yes, it is only going to go one way.
Could an Evercade cartridge, I mean, I'm looking at the cartridges now, could an Evercade cartridge hit above £30-40?
Never.
I can't see it happening. I like having them as a collection, but
it's second-hand nostalgia, isn't it?
Mhm.
Really, it's the originals that are worth something. These
Yeah.
are not going to be worth
Yeah.
as much. It's like a reproduction of, I don't know, a Star Wars toy, for example. It's the original ones that are worth the money. The reproductions are never worth anywhere near as much. But you never know. Some of the like indie heroes, for example, some of those games you won't be able to get anywhere else. So maybe they'll be the ones that the value will shoot up on.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. We shall see what happens in time. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and see what the aftermarket prices of the legacy collections, and we'll see what it does to them. Okay, so I don't think the Evercade. It's true, but there is quite a hardcore sort of following. I think more people are becoming aware of it. Oh, what have you lost?
We lost you temporarily there. You froze. You
Shocking.
done a Tim. You were just like,
damn, someone get Radio Rentals in the chat.
I thought it was me. So I was like,
yeah, no, it's Andy Davison's comment. I don't think the Evercade is well known enough to be that collectible. True, but yeah, there's a real hardcore group that do love the Evercade. And yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one, because if you look at those founders editions and you sort of look at all the people that backed it and did everything like that, there's a lot of people. I know it's not like millions, but it's the number made me sort of go, oh, all right, lots of people like this thing. So I don't know. I think it is quite a popular one. But yeah, is it popular enough for, yeah, as you say, into buying cars? Yeah. So we'll see where that one runs. So next topic is EXP firmware updates in 2023. I don't have an EXP. I know me and you, Ryan, were sort of prepped and primed to get an EXP on order in January. We were sort of we were basically just waiting for payday, waiting for Christmas to get out of the way, and then we were going to dive on an EXP. And then we've sort of opted to just hold fire and wait for the next batch to kind of come out, sort of following a similar suit to the original handheld. So, I mean, I'm presuming there's a few things that could probably do with a bit of a patch. What are some of the issues that people have been experiencing?
well, people's Yeah, like you said, I haven't got an EXP, so I haven't experienced these problems. But obviously, we run the Evercade Hangout Facebook group. We've got over 1,000 members in there, so we see a lot of issues and concerns that people bring to our attention. So I think we're quite well versed to talk about this, because I know people like to say you don't own that console, so you can't talk about it. But yet, we're seeing these problems not daily, but weekly, I would say.
Hmm.
And one of the main problems is battery life. People's EXPs, the battery's only lasting for 2 hours, and there was supposed to be a firmware update. I don't know if it was supposed to be by now, which was supposed to help the. I don't know how it helps, how a firmware update helps the battery. Um, Apparently it will. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a thing, whether it'll
That's
fix
mad.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but 2 hours battery is not good.
2 hours.
Yeah, and John Crazyburger's done a recent video, and he talks about it in quite a lot of detail.
Hmm.
So yeah, 2 hours is not good enough for a product that cost you £129.
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
poor.
that's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. I mean, Rager's in the chat. Good evening, Mr. Rager. You're quite technical. Is there a way that a patch could solve the battery issue, or is it? I don't know. Is there something else that it would need? But yeah, it kind of. I mean, I'm not that technically minded in order to kind of know whether a patch could do that, but I would imagine it must do, because I remember, do you remember when Apple got in trouble for releasing firmware on
Yeah,
your
slows it
iPhone?
down. Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah, it was rinsing the battery. It made all the apps run terribly on your phone. There's a way to get you to buy a new phone, and then they sort of found out to have done it, apologized, released a firmware
That's
sort of the
bad.
following.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Ollie was saying they released a firmware, and yeah, it was bad. He's
So
back.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
did I go again?
You did
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
He
Oh
said released
man.
a firmware, and then he disappeared.
Oh, damn it. Yeah. But yeah, they magically released a phone. Everybody's phone started working, and it all kind of kicked on and everything worked well. So maybe there is a way that it would do. See, I knew Rager would know something. Some stuff manager, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Intriguing. No, Gamertron, I don't think it would. Hence why me and Brian have opted to hold fire and look at picking up the second wave of EXPs, because we definitely had there was that issue with the original handheld, and that's what stopped me from picking it up originally. So yeah, hopefully that will happen soon, and those second waves will kick out, because I do really want one. So yeah. I mean, what other sort of issues are people sort of having that we could try and fix with
The,
firmware?
the R2 and L2 buttons aren't mapped on any of the PlayStation 1 games. So on Actra Soccer, for example, you can't use L2 and R2, and you need those. I'm trying to remember from playing it on the VS, but I think you need them to change the camera angles.
Right.
And we're in February now. This came out at the start of December, and it still hasn't been fixed. It,
Mm.
I know Blaze are a small company, but it's not. As a retailer, it's not good enough. Imagine getting a. It's not. I know people will say it's not comparable. PlayStation are much bigger, but imagine buying Hogwarts Legacy and being told, "Oh no, L2 and R2 don't work until we do a firmware update."
Mm. Or
People
there'd
would
be a
be
firmware
outraged.
update day one, wouldn't there, to fix it?
Yeah, exactly. So Evercade need to sort, or Blaze need to sort this out, because someone paying £129 for a device and you can't play all of the games on it because the control mapping hasn't been done, in my mind. And I think most people would agree. It's not good enough, and it's not acceptable that we've got to February, and almost quarter of a year, almost 3 months away, and it still hasn't been fixed.
Mm. It's a shame.
It's madness, isn't it? It's madness. How can you release a product that's not just not working.
It
You're
is a
fuming,
real
wouldn't you?
shame. Well, yeah, exactly, and you would be, and it is a real shame because people do part with money, and I know that Blaze's sort of returns policy and their customer service from that angle is very good. You have an issue with your console, have an issue with your cartridge, they'd like you to normally send a video showing the product or the thing not working, which I think is a perfectly reasonable thing to ask for. And then I don't know. I mean, I had a faulty replacement. Well, it was on my doorstep 2 or 3 days later. So they are good at getting replacement things out to people, but it would just be better to not have that issue to start with, and just kind of I guess just
Oh,
have a slightly more working product to kick it off with.
100% agree. When I've had issues, very very few issues with cartridges, I've emailed Blaze or Evercade, and they've sent me a replacement out almost the next day, and I haven't had to send the other one back. So
Mm,
they've been as good as gold with things like that. However, with these firmware updates, this should be sorted by now, 100%.
mm,
And what would be really good, and I've been thinking about this the last few days, is wouldn't it be great if Sean or Ryan or even Andy Byatt from Blaze came on this podcast and gave the UK YouTube scene a bit of love and spoke to us and answered some of these questions that the Evercade community have, questions that are always put in the Evercade Hangout. We see them in there. So it'd be a really good opportunity for them to speak directly to people and members of the Evercade Hangout about these problems and concerns.
hmm
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Do you know what I mean? And then it shows that you're willing to listen to your consumer, basically.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
yeah. Didn't you say that something happened in the football recently where people did that, and the sort of the respect you get from the fans is actually sort of twofold, because actually, yes, you're listening to my problems. Yes, you're standing there and you're actually listening to what I'm saying, and it actually then pushes the respect level up that little bit more, doesn't it? When people sort of come forward.
Oh,
Um,
100%. This is going off on a tangent, but Blunners and I, as you know, are big Southampton fans. We appointed an absolutely useless manager who was sacked this week. However, the CEO, the person who appointed him, the chairman of Southampton Football Club, they had a fans forum last week, which you can go and watch on YouTube, and you can watch the four of them squirm in their seats whilst fans are questioning them about their decision making and why certain things were done. And that's a massive, well, not massive, but a big Premier League football club. So, why can't Blaze come on here? We're not going to hammer them. We're just going to ask them questions. When is R2 and L2 going to be fixed? When is that going to happen? It's just,
mm,
it's a question that we would like answering, and I'm sure lots of other people would like answering as well.
yeah, yeah. It's
Just having
sorry,
more
dude.
presence, really, isn't it? Yeah, just having more of a presence, because people like, if you're open and honest and, do you know what I mean, and actually portray what's going on, then
Mm.
then people will understand. But just being like radio silence, a bit weird, really, isn't it?
Well, it'd just be
I've
nice to show the UK team a bit of
Yeah,
love. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I've said before, I would love to actually, I don't know, I'd love to sort of actually sort of talk to them on a slightly different level as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be you know just like on this. I'd love to do videos about upcoming cartridges to get people excited about new products and this kind of thing. um I know there is a fairly good market for the Evercade across seas, and but the UK market is massive. You know, the Evercade Hangout's got, over 1,100 people in it, and I think a lot of those people are sort of based in the UK. So, I'd love to be doing stuff with Evercade to kind of, bring awareness to new cartridges, or do little short videos, chatting about futures of things. It's who knows. Would love to do some actual stuff with them, as well as have them on the podcast to, talk about some people's concerns and that kind of thing. I think it'd be great, but we'll see. That door is always open from us, always open. We always like to be, open and honest with all opinions
Definitely. That's what we pride ourselves
No,
on: open and honest debate in the Evercade
yes.
Hangout.
Okie dokie. So,
I think,
are there,
Blanner, someone in your house is either playing Hogwarts Legacy online or they're downloading, like something that's 100 gigabytes, because your internet is getting slightly worse as the podcast is going on.
As we started, my son's just started playing Rocket League, and yeah, he's then shouting and doesn't care that I'm on something at all. So yeah, does my head in.
well, all the meanwhile, yep, someone's screwing with my internet as well. It's it's frustrating. My next door neighbor, actually, tangent number 3. My next door neighbor has found out that the developers in the housing estate where we are have like crushed one of the internet cables when they were lining it all or doing whatever they've done. So a huge amount of work is going to get done to our street, which will hopefully improve the internet speed in my house. So there, there's where my bandwidth has gone. It was crushed under a digger. Stupid, bloody stupid. Anyway, back on topic with Evercade. Is there any other firmware updates that people think we need?
I just thought this comment was great. Our thoughts compared to overseas different. We're more honest with constructive criticism. They don't have criticism. I think we're very much like that in the UK. We don't get overly excited about things.
Well, we do, but they've got to be. It's got to be something, you know. It can't just be seven more shooters.
Yeah.
But yes. So, is there an update on the limited edition EXPs? I think people have put in their names probably by now for the Heroes program.
Someone did. Someone
Yeah, I
in the
know you're
Evercade
gonna
Hangout called that the victims of crime list, which I
victims of
thought
crime list.
I should laugh, but it was, it's a nice touch, but it is victims of crime list. If you think about, all those people have had their EXP stolen.
It's a massive shame, and I still feel for everybody. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have been affected by it. There's a lot of people that have actually sort of kept back from getting a white EXP. They're holding on for that black edition. Big respect to people that are sort of doing that. They want that version. That's the one they're going to run with. But yeah, where's I'd love to know what is happening with this investigation, or have they got any leads? Is anything happening? Like,
But there are lots of leads because people have been selling them on Facebook Marketplace. Someone even, and again, this isn't funny, but it just shows how brazen people are. Someone took the limited edition EXP into cash converters and sold it to them, because I don't know if it still is, but it was available on their website for a time. So that person would be on CCTV walking into that shop. So surely the police would be able to track that person down. And where did you get these stolen EXPs from?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? It's
Really
weird. Like, I know the European market were basically unfazed by it, weren't they? Theirs were all okay, but and maybe one or two other countries were they were the affected parties. But yeah, you're right. Definitely, there's a few on Marketplace. I mean, there was one on Marketplace recently. Wow, look at that.
It's brazen as anything. It's these are stolen, and someone's just gone and cash converted. Yeah. Well, cash converters clearly have not looked into it at all.
Bring up some of those other photos. See if the.
But it wasn't on mainstream, really, was it? It wasn't really mainstream, like out there, that this had happened. Do you know what I mean?
Both in
You've got a couple
Yorkshire.
of websites. That was about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. Let's go back and look at the photos.
I just want to know whether or not the boxes for Europe, would they have been different to the UK and American boxes?
Well, I think this is the UK one, isn't it? That
The Peggy's European, I think.
Yeah, Peggy is at Europe.
But saying that, you know, places like in the sort of Dutch, I've ordered things from Germany and that place that sort of area of Europe before, and they come with that giant sticker that oh god, how best to show it? I've got to try and find a Blu-ray really, really quickly now. Right, 2 seconds. You'll know which sticker I mean.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll just the comments here, people saying how brazen and ballsy someone is to do that in cash converters. It is. So that wasn't on that box, was it?
So I would think any
No.
that are from sort of mainland Europe would probably have would have that sticker on, because you get quite a lot of those Evercade cartridges that we've seen in the Hangout have had that on. So I don't know, is that Cash Converters one genuinely like a UK one? Like that seems odd.
It is. It appears to be a genuine UK one, and it seems to be brazen as anything. Okay.
They can monitor Facebook Marketplace, but they can't report it.
No, I don't
Can't
know.
report
How can they not report if their stock's gone missing? Do you know what I mean? It just seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I
don't know.
don't know.
Interesting. Swollen goods.
Yeah.
Can't report it. Can't report anything on eBay, as have to be a member of law enforcement. That seems a bit odd, because I remember when you used to be able to buy pirate movies and everything on eBay. eBay was that infant area. It was just lawless. It was absolute anarchy. It was amazing, and you could buy pirate
Wild
movies.
West.
You could buy. It really was. And then they started realizing that people were buying and selling pirate movies, cigarettes, and all this kind of shit that you just shouldn't be selling on eBay, and they really cracked down on it. And so I don't know. I think if someone was to report something to eBay and say that this is stolen stock, this is like an actual thing, I think that they take notice. I mean, eBay are pretty shit hot on that kind of thing, especially from a buyer's perspective. You know, it always generally favors the buyer on eBay now. You've got to be totally
favors the
squeaky
buyer.
clean as a seller to So I don't know. That just something doesn't sit well with me with that. I don't know.
Well, the fact that they're on, in cash converters, and surely it just takes a phone call to cash converters head office to say they are stolen goods.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't sell. I'm sure cash converters wouldn't be happy knowing that they're, they might not be stolen goods. They might have been gifted, or they might, we're assuming here. But the fact they're in the UK, you would like to assume that, well, you wouldn't like to assume, but you would assume that they probably are the stolen ones, because there was no stock delivered to the UK. They all went to Europe.
Interesting. Seems a bit weird, doesn't it, that we could go on cash converters now, buy a black EXP, and have it a month before the next.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, have you lost me again?
We did, but you were saying a month before, but we don't know. I know we don't know when these limited. Have they said they're going to be out next month? I don't think.
I thought they said March. I'm sure they said March was something they were aiming for. Maybe I made that up.
Okay, so we'll wait and see then.
Yeah.
It would be nice if there was an update on where they were with production. Surely production's moved on since December, so it'd be nice to know. Yep, we're moving on. We're going to hit a March deadline. They're being shipped now, or something like that. It would be nice just for people who have ordered one to know, because they paid for this device 10 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah, definitely would. Well, the plot thickens with the limited edition EXP heist. There's definitely still more to this story.
I'd just like to buy one. Just like we'll chip in, buy one, and then we can then work out if it is stolen stock or something. Get it delivered there.
Take it to Blaze. Take it to
Take
them.
it
Be
to
like, look, is
Blaze.
this
Look, we've got
one of your
this.
UK ones? Like we've fronted this out of our own money. I don't know. How could you track it and trace it from where it came from? I don't know. No idea now. It's like
I think
money
that was
laundering.
the selling price, gold tooth. I think £179 was the amount that they were selling for on fund stock. It comes with a
Intriguing.
12-month warranty from Cash Converters. I don't know how Cash Converters know how to fix Evercade. So if the cartridge gets stuck in there, well, they can't replace it. Well, there's two, isn't there? So I guess they could give you the other one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Intriguing. See, Rager's got all the answers. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to sort of keep monitoring that, and maybe we'll sort of see where we are in a few weeks or next month, and see what the situation is. We can do start doing a countdown and seeing where we're at, and be interesting to see whether or not those original ones ever.
Yeah, we'll be interested if they ever turn up. Definitely.
So, Ryan's sharing something.
We're just showing you this is on fund stock, £179.99, so exactly the same as what they're being sold for on Cash Converters.
So normally Cash Converters make money on these things, don't they?
I don't know.
Anyone that uses Cash Converters in the chat, is it basically similar to like CEX? Do they lowball you and then sell it for a much higher price?
Yeah, I think it is like that. They lowball you and just put the price up.
Selling it for $179, that means they probably didn't pay more than $129 for it.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
I mean, that to me sounds like someone was trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's been on there a little while because I saw that a few weeks ago.
Allegedly.
It's still on there.
But that's just me thinking of sort of like, Better Call Saul and like money laundering and all the sort of Breaking Bad type stuff. Like you just want to part with it. You want to get it out of the system and whatnot. And you'll just take 120 quid for something like that.
Wow, 80
Probably
quid.
give you 80. I mean, you're getting into the original handheld territory there, aren't you? I mean, that's... I don't know. That Cash Converters thing's like real weirded me out, man. I think there's something fishy with that. Don't like it.
Seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
Don't like it.
It is strange.
Okay, so Ryan wants to give a new YouTube channel. Well, I say a new YouTube channel, a channel that's new to us, a bit of a shout out. So we might try and make this a bit of a feature. Maybe for the next time we sort of come together to discuss Evercade, maybe we will bring another YouTube channel that would be new to us to the forefront for people to go and check out. So that channel, Ryan, I'll let you run with it.
Yeah, so I'll share the channel, but it's a channel called PK in the Universe. He does some really good Evercade reviews, content, news, thoughts and ideas. As you can see here, he's got Legacy Kart, which one's next. He actually said it was going to be that Pico Kart before it was announced, because he had figured out that they had lost the license for one of those games. So he does some really good stuff. A very good video of his is the Evercade EXP News. This one, Evercade Ever Outcast. That's well worth watching. We just talked to camera for about 25 minutes about his experience in the Evercade community. So that one's really worth watching. But yeah, PK in the Universe, check him out, give him a subscribe, and he's just hit 1,000 subscribers as well. So an awesome channel.
Very, very cool. So yes, head on over and we'll see who we can bring to people's attention next time. Moving on to more plugs. So I don't know if he's still in the chat there, but tomorrow is, of course, Valentine's Day. And it's much more. Mr. James Jarvis is doing a Valentine's Day special. I can't think of anyone else I would rather spend Valentine's Day with than Mr. Jarvis.
It's his fiance on camera. Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to be sat at like a romantic meal, but he's going to be
In
Mr.
his suit
Jarvis,
and
if
tie.
you're Mr. Jarvis, if you're still in the chat, please do let us know what we can expect from the It's Much More Valentine's Day special tomorrow.
Will he
Top
be in a
hat.
tuxedo, just like
Top hat, yeah.
rose in his mouth, that kind of thing?
Oh man, I'll be bitterly disappointed if he's not. That kind of feels like a missed trick, right?
It does, yeah. Surely he's going to be going all out. Surely they all are, because Games Re-Up is going to be on it as well.
Oh, re-upped
Yeah, and also Wave Game Studio, someone from I can't remember, is it Alex? I want to say. Dorbs will correct me if I'm wrong. He's going to be there as well. So yeah, definitely do check it
You're on
out
there,
tomorrow
Ron?
night. No, I'm not, because I am, so popular. I've got to spend a day with countless number of women. Spread myself thinly, haven't I? And open all my cards and presents.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. It's tangent number 4. Do you remember when you were at school and the Valentine's Day would kick in and they'd have that post box, didn't they? And everyone would put their
Post
Valentine's Day
box,
cards in it, and then they dish them all out in class. Like there was nothing more embarrassing, mainly
Pot noodle
because
for Ryan.
pot noodle and sleeping on the sofa, very possible, I think.
Yeah, I think I'll be packing my bags after that comment. And yeah,
Before we
sleep
get
in my
onto
car.
the last plug, Goldtooth has just mentioned one there as well.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry,
Cool.
mate, I clicked it. You clicked it as well. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
16 Bits and Bobs, Ali did a 12-hour stream yesterday for charity. Please head on over to 16 Bits and Bob's YouTube channel.
Is it true?
Is it true?
Is it true?
It's true. It's true. There'll be all the details in there for the charity that he was raising money for. There'll be the links in there for you to go and chuck a little cheeky donation in there. It would be greatly appreciated. Ali's a great guy, crazy energy. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. And the Goldtooth's 8 hours 40 minutes in. Man, yeah, I will be watching that in increments, I have to say. So yes, that's.
Oh, so Ollie's
No, go on, dude.
No, I was going to say what I would like to see is Goldtooth do some Evercade videos, do some playthrough. He's recently got an Evercade handheld. It'd be great to see his live reaction to playing an Evercade.
He could do them in song.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It needs to be done.
Yes, I would love to see that. A Goldtooth Evercade rap.
Yeah.
I'm in. Goldtooth, make it happen. Make it happen. That would be epic. Final plug before we get to the last couple of starred comments. Last chance if people want to chuck a question in the chat, please do. Is for Evercade Hangout, the #1 Facebook group for all of your Evercade needs. Just search Evercade Hangout, and you'll be you'll be let in. It's a really good group. It's really good fun. All the sort of ground rules generally apply for that group, but the main ground rule is don't be a knob. And generally you'll get on pretty fine with everybody. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It can be a different opinion to yours, and people can still get on. And that group is living proof that can happen. So head on over to the Evercade Hangout and get involved in all the fun discussions and chats that everyone's got going on there.
Saying like the growth of that channel as well, Ollie, it is just absolutely flown. And there's loads of stuff going on in that.
Yeah, it's growing daily. It's bizarre. Not bizarre at all. It's great. I don't know why I said bizarre, but yeah, it has grown very quickly. You're right. So yeah, get on over there, get involved, join in.
Can I just do one more plug before we move on to questions? I brought my first ever copy of Evercade Evolution magazine, and well worth buying. Liam kindly sent me this. He's part of the team. But if you search on Amazon Evercade Evolution magazine, you will find it. It's, as far as I know, the only Evercade magazine or fanzine that's out. It's really good read. Really enjoying reading it. do check it out and support the guys who put a lot of time and effort into this magazine.
Yes, here.
Yeah,
Completely
definitely.
agree with you. Completely agree. So, our starred comments from earlier. The first one was from Gamertron. So, what do you guys think the Evercade need to be a
To be
Is it
viable, yeah,
viable? Yeah.
to make more people see them as an
Because
option for something different and fun.
fun.
viable? It's, I mean, it already is a viable product. It's there, and people like it. People engage with it. Some people have are absolutely batshit crazy for it. I don't know. I mean, we've said this so many times on various things like Everchat and the various sort of uncensored we've done about Evercade. But I would love to see them really go for it with a particular collection. Just go for broke. Absolutely go for broke. Strike up a deal with somebody that is a massive, big hitter.
Well,
He's gone again.
yeah,
We've
I
got
think
a
it
big
was
hitter. Who's
big
the big
hitter.
Shocking.
hitter?
Shocking. I'm having an absolute stinker this evening.
He's the big hitter.
Right. Yeah. Just go for broke. Get a really big title out there. Have, I don't know, even if you put just 2 incredible, massive games on it and just go for it. That for me would speak volumes to a wider market. So for me, that's what they do, because the product's viable, it works, and people like it. So just go for broke on a crazy cartridge and just see what happens. I don't know if anybody else has got anything that they would like to see them do.
They don't need to do any more
I
hardware.
think
I think the
no.
VS is good enough for what they're doing. The EXP, once they sort out all the various issues, will be good enough. And I think the original handheld's good enough as well for the price point. Yeah, kind of like you, Ollie. They need to get one big hitter, which they've got with Street Fighter. But if they could get that on a cartridge, wow, a Street Fighter collection, that would
That'd be
shift
great.
unit.
I would say marketing. Like, it just needs to be it. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't see it anywhere.
Well, cash converters in Leeds, you do.
But yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
agree.
so, yeah.
Some sort of advertising wouldn't go amiss.
Nope. No, they need certainly to advertise more.
I think my internet
Yeah,
is getting flakier by the minute. I can just
It
see
is.
little
But
little circles appearing.
we're almost wrapping up anyway. We haven't got many more
We are.
questions to go through.
We are. So next one from Andy Davison: the Amiga collection will disappoint. Discuss. I mean, I wouldn't know what would disappoint, because I don't have a nostalgia for the Amiga. Dorbs is our Amiga guy. He would probably be able to say why it would. I don't know. As long as they just get a handful of decent games on it, it'd be difficult to disappoint. I mean, the Amiga is infinitely better than what the Commodore is, isn't it? I mean, I remember seeing Amiga reviews on Games Master, so it's clear.
it'd be the Spectrum collection next, won't it?
Yeah, for an Amiga collection, they need games like Sensible World of Soccer, and they need Zool and Robocod, and I never had an Amiga. Mine, yeah, my neighbour had one, so it's I'm trying to think back to what he had. Moonstones I used to really like on the Amiga.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry, as Dorbs would say. There's a wealth of games. There was a Grand Prix game on the Amiga that was really good, but I guess licensing they'd never be able to get that. There's various Football Manager games on the Amiga as well. I really don't want to see Lemmings on the Evercade, because it's just going to be a nightmare without a mouse. Those games never work without a mouse. So that would be a no-no. But I know it's a big game and that would draw people in. But yeah, there's loads of games on the Amiga, and they've got such a wealth of games to pick. Surely they're not going to pick 14 games and 12 of them be not very good.
We'll have to see. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to add much to the Amiga debate, I'm afraid. And then the last question, again from Mr. Andy Davidson. Each panel member's snog, marry, avoid cartridge choices. So I will throw that out to you guys. Let's go with Ryan first. What are your snog, marry, and avoid cartridges? I mean, bear in mind, 2 of these cartridges, one you get to snog, the other one you get to marry. So,
okay, this is a bit weird, but snog would probably be Codemasters Collection 1 because Sensible Soccer. Marry would be easy. That'd be Hours Awakening Cathedral double cut, and then avoid would be Intellivision 2 or Atari 1 and 2 as well. So I would, it's quite easy for me.
Okay, Mr. Blunners, do you have a snog, marry, avoid?
Yeah, mine would probably be snog, Cathedrals, marry, Indie Heroes 2, and bin off in television, I think. Or the C64.
Yes, that as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with... I am going to snog Indie Heroes 1. I'm going to marry... I can't decide between Hours Awakening and Xenocrisis. I can't decide. I mean, Xenocrisis makes me angry sometimes. So let's go with I'm going to marry Hours Awakening. And I'm going to avoid Atari Collection 1 purely because that is the weaker of the 2. I think Atari Collection 2 at least has some good games in it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, that question seemed like that would have been more suited to another Evercade podcast.
Agreed.
Yes. Just let people know we are not going to be snogging any Evercade cartridges or taking them to bed for that matter.
Shocking.
I'll find them in the wild.
Yeah.
Right.
There is just before we go, Adrian Piper in the Evercade Hangout sent me quite a lengthy question, so I'll try and narrow it down. And one of the things he says is, what is it you think Evercade needs to do to stay relevant and keep people interested in it? I think we've answered that. But he thinks arcade collections and home computer and indie, that's the core for Evercade, as you're not really getting those anywhere else. And he goes on to say that we don't really need AAA publishers because he thinks it's the Indie Heroes, arcades, and home computers that are going to shift it. I can certainly agree with the indie collections, 100%. I think those cartridges are brilliant. However, I'm not sure about the home computers when there's a C64 and Amiga Mini.
Yeah. Amigo?
Yeah, do not mention that word.
Do not mention that word.
Mention that word. You'll be edited now and put into someone's hate video, and it'll just be us here, and you'll just say that word, and then they'll take it totally out of context, and then that'll be it. So don't say it ever again. Ever.
1 hour 18 in quick.
Amazing.
Yeah, remove it.
Just bleep it out.
Okay.
I mean, that's picking one forever, isn't it? That's picking one game.
We need a welfare
forever.
check on Dorbs.
Yeah, I really don't know. We've answered that anyway. We've answered it.
It'd be one of the snog or the marry ones.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Well, I believe we have come to the end of this evening's Uncensored. it's been a lot of fun. The chat's been busy. There's been lots of people in there.
Check.
Thank you everyone for joining live, and thank you everyone for throwing in your questions and joining in the chat. It's always good when we can interact with people when we're sort of discussing this stuff. So yeah, make sure you check out the PK in the Universe channel. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for It's Much More's Valentine's Day special, and make sure you get involved in the Evercade Hangout, the UK's #1 Facebook group for Evercade related topics and stuff. I don't think we can say who's coming on next week as yet, so we'll keep that one on the down low.
Oh, unless Goldtooth wants to come on, and we can arrange something with Goldtooth. It'd be good to.
We can have a Goldtooth like review. Review. We can review his cartridges he's got.
We're in. Goldtooth, are you available next week? We can move any arrangements that we had in. We can move them around. Goldtooth, are you available next week for a stream? Let's get it done. Excellent. Ryan, I'm going to leave you to do the outro because I'm all cack-handed with the intro at the moment. So all that leaves us to say is thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the panel, and we will see you next week.
Good night.
Bye.